Okay, welcome to the latest in a series of videos I'm doing in regards to how to paint an iRacing car. In this case, this is for a guy named on Facebook I've met named Trey Bass who wanted to learn how to do a wrap. Wraps are fairly simple. As long as you have what you want and you make the layer that you make it as a complete layer, then you shouldn't have any issues. What I do on a wrap is I use Paint Shop Pro, have been for about 15 years. What I do is I open up the PSD file that iRacing comes with, and in this instance I'm doing the McLaren the MP40 GT3. You go down to where your base paint is. In this case it's all the way at the bottom. You don't have to select any templates at all. And you make it all black. Use your paint and select it over here, and then go to your fill and then make it all black, just like this. Now you're going to want to go over and you're going to have some lines like around here. You can see how there's still some orange around this one here. Take and use your spray tool and hit it. Of course you got to make sure you select the right color, and then get anything that's ghosting around the car. I'll back out a little bit because we don't need that so wide. But you want to make sure that you cover the area, all the area with the orange that you need. I should have put the black on top. See how it's coverage? Go through it and hit any areas that you think have a highlighted amount of orange. We'll hit the McLaren logo and clean that up a bit. And then adjust your page and then go up. And then hit your lines to make sure they're there. You can see how the orange ghosting is here. Get rid of all that. And then just move it on down and then do the next section. Get rid of all that orange. Jump over. Anywhere you think there might be orange, look and see that you make sure you get it covered. See, now here's a bigger section of it. If you wanted to, you could always just use the fill tool on it to clean it up. Makes things a little bit easier. Went too far. And then move up. Use your next frame of reference. And move over and then start doing this next part of it to get rid of all your orange or whatever base it is. McLaren's happens to be orange. You could end up getting, most of them are blue. There's a few exceptions, of course. And look to make sure you're covering all the areas. Now you got an all black layer. You're not going to be able to overwrite any of the things like the white boxes here, or your yellow stripe, or the McLaren logo there. Now what I do is take a ready-made design, and I'll show you this one here. I've already got it set up. Go over to image, resize image, and then change it to 2048 by 2048, which is the standard size that iRacing uses for all its templates. And this is actually what loads better into the game via trading paints. In this case, I already had it at 2048 by 2048, so it stays the same. What I want to do is I'll go up to Edit, I'll copy the layer, go back to the car, and then go back up to Edit and paste as new layer. You want it as a new layer. Do not do it as a new image. Do not do it as a transparent selection. Do not do it as a paste as new selection. It has to be done as a new layer. Notice how it spreads out there. The 2048 will overlap everything as it appears on your screen. So it will go through here. But notice it didn't touch the wing, and it didn't touch the pit box, and it didn't touch, it touched only a little bit of the McLaren. You can still see the McLaren logo over the top of it. Anything that the pieces that are over the top, and that's just important that you start and put this layer just above where your base is so that it's underneath where your logos are going to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going up here to the pit box, and if you want to do that, just do your selector, and you notice it's down here, which on most cars it is. I'll go back up to the fill. Now hit this with the black, and hit this with the red. Then I'll back out. Now you want to look at the other ones to see what you have as far as if you've got any banners, window banners and stuff like that, and then you can change it. In this case, I don't have to worry about that. There's only one of them there. You can't change the parts, you can't change the shadow, and you can't change the license stripe. Those are all set. So you go over to sponsors, hit your to make it visible, and you want to leave it here because you want your sponsors as high up as you can in the grid so that it doesn't get overlapped by anything else. Now in my case, I'm going to take my red line logo, edit, copy. So whenever you do this, you're going to want to create it as a new layer so that you don't have to worry about overlapping, and that way nothing gets overshadowed. So I'm going to go back up to edit, paste as a new layer, and my red line logo is there. Select the arrow. Then I'm going to go ahead and move it down here, and then just take and change it to fit your boxes. Then I'll go up to here, copy, paste as a new layer, and it copies what I just did. So I'll reverse that, and then carry it up and put it over here. Now this is going to be one of my Redline Racing Harley Quinn cars, so I'll go over here, and I'll go to my new volume, go to Pictures, iRacing, and I have several different folders that I use. In this case, the ones where I'm looking for right now are either in Redline Racing or my sponsors one. It always helps if you have a separate sponsor folder so that you know where all your pictures are. If you look at sponsors here, I've got several different ones. I've got Air Force logos, I've got ALS, I've got Asia, I've got BPRL, I've got a whole bunch of them like that. We'll end up going back to the Def Leppard one. But the one I want to concentrate right now is the Redline Racing one, where my Harley Quinn logo is. Right there. Edit, copy, edit, paste as a new layer. Always paste as a new layer. Move it down to your box where you need to go, and move your arrow. This I'm going to extend a little bit. Edit, copy, because I want to do it on the same on the other side. Paste as a new layer. Now go up here and move this up to this box, and we're going to flip it. Show you. Right there. Turn it, and of course you want it even, so make sure your lines are straight. Not always as easy as it looks. Alright. Draw it in a little bit. Draw this out a little bit. Alright, we'll back that one out. So now I've got boxes here. If you're not sure which ones are there, because you're going to have some boxes that'll do certain things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a logo for here, and I've got one here. So I'm going to take our double R logo, our Redline Racing one that Cody Trudell Cote made for me, right here. I tend to go with the red and white ones so that I can, they're more visible on this particular car. Copy, edit, paste as a new layer. Now I'm going to turn this, make sure it's straight. Bring it over here to this box, drag it in. And now the RR logo is on the hood. Now this one here is facing this way. Always make note of where the front of the car is too if you're going to do this. We know this is the front of the car. So we'll go up here. I don't know if there's any more on this particular section I need to do. This would actually be a pretty good location for my Les Paul one. Oh, there's Harley. Generally, I'll go and put her on the car too, like right around in this particular area behind her name. So what I'm going to do is this one's a little bit different. I want this one, I want the layers above it, so I'm going to call her up and copy her. But on this one, I'm going to go back down to the layer, the paint layer. I'm going to do an edit, paste new layer. And notice when I do this, when I scale her down, she is going to be below the Harley Quinn logo and below the logo for, or the placement section of the sponsors. You don't want to get it too low or too high, and this is where adjustment in game comes in too. If you're too high, it could end up into the door jamb or the window, and it wouldn't show up. Copy, edit, place a new layer because I want her the same size on the other side. I'll go up here, move her this way, and then we'll flip her around like that. Alright, so now Harley's on the car. We need to go back to sponsors. In this case, we're going to jump down to my regular sponsor list. Most of mine, as I said, are, let me see, the Les Paul one is here. Right there. Edit, copy. I never leave them open, otherwise your desktop will end up getting too crowded. We'll flip this one. Let's take and put it over here on the wing. And this is another thing too, is unless you know the pattern real well, you may have to adjust which way your wing sponsor goes. So we'll put Les Paul there. Oh, I forgot to move it back up. Take and drag it back up here because we want that showing above the blue line. Right there. And it shows up. You can see it just a little bit right there. All right, we've only got one more, or we got two sponsor placements left. The front here and the back right there. So I'm going to take and go to my sponsors. We're going to drop down here to my various logos. This is where I keep my Criterion and my most wanted logos. There's the Criterion. Edit, copy, edit, paste as a new layer. We're going to put this one on the back, I think. There. Draw it in until it meets the line. Now, sometimes you can overshadow it and go over a little bit on your lines, but sometimes you don't want to because of the curves of the body placement. Go over here. The most wanted logo will be down here on the right-hand side. Right there. Edit, copy, edit, paste a new layer, turn it so that it matches up. Right. Drag it over, fit it to size. Okay. Now go back and remember to turn off your sponsorship layer. There you go. Now you got all your logo placements there. I got my Les Paul there. My red lines are here. Harley, along with her name, is right there. The red line logo, the double R's, the Criterion, and the most wanted. So now make sure you do not overwrite your original paint scheme, or you'll have to re-download it again from trading paints or from iRacing unless you have it saved already. So this will become the Redline McLaren MP40 12C GT3. Now I save it as both PSP and I save it as the TGA file, which is what you need for iRacing. TGA, save it, yes. Now we're ready to import it. All right, choose paint. Most of you guys know how to do this, so it's nothing new for you. I'll just kind of breeze through this as quickly as I can. And look for the Redline McLaren MP40 TGA file. The TGA is important. Okay. Notice it's imported now. I'll go down here. I always do it for my Musketeer one too. Redline McLaren. Now at this point I can go into the game and select my MP40. The MP4 12C, there it is. Let's take it over to Nordschleife. Now that one takes a little longer to load. Mount Panorama would be a good one. There it is. Oh, one other thing too is make sure that you go to Customize Paints, Customize Cars, and then when it loads up, change your wheels, and if you have numbers, you change those as well. The paint scheme works on all the types of cars, so as long as you have the template, you're in good shape. McLaren, there it is. Alright, now this one doesn't have car numbers, but it does have wheels. In this case, I always use the F80101. It's a red wheel. Always choose chrome. I always like chrome too. Makes for a shinier car. Alright, now those are taken care of. I can go test the car on the track. Excuse me, taking a drink. Now, if you're looking to adjust your logos and stuff like that, the easiest way to do it is just hit test and stay there on your pit road for a little bit. Make sure your colors load, as we just went through that. And then Alt out. Alright, we want to do TV1. And you can see the McLaren is sitting there on pit road. I'll zoom in. And you can see it right there that it did change. So I'm going to go ahead and go back out on the track. I'm going to go out on the track and so you can see what it looks like in the rarefied air of Mount Panorama. Normally I'd go up the mountain, but I'm only using this for test purposes, so exit out. I'll fast forward this a little bit to get the car in a better position. Now you can see it. Go to camera, and I'll zoom in on it like that. Move it to the left, move it down just a hair, and the car's in position. Now normally I would take this on the other side, but at this point I'm just looking at Harley to see how see if she is in the into the door. See, that's the thing, is you can see her right there. If you look close enough, her head is cut off right in here. I'll move this left so you can see it better. But yeah, you can see where Harley's head was cut off, which means now we're going to have to move, because she's partially into this door, into the door bend, we're going to have to move her down. Everything else looks correct for the most part. The RR logo looks good. The Most Wanted logo looks good. The red line logos look good. I'm going to change this to blimp view, that we get a better view of what the top of the car looks like, and rotate it. This is how you rotate it. Just like that. And we'll move this right so we can get a better look, because I'm looking for the Les Paul logo, and you can see it here. It's facing the right direction, so we're good. And Harley is too high on this side as well, so we'll have to move her downward. So both sides of those will need to be adjusted. All right. Now, if I wanted to take a picture of this at this point, I could by just hitting Alt F1. This is something just for my video card, so you may not be able to do this. So it saves it there. This is how I get my screenshots. All right, we're quit. Don't save. You don't need to. Go back to your paint. Right there, we know Harley is too high up here. And see, actually, if I would have thought about it beforehand, look where this line is. This is that bend that I showed you in the video where it was. So what we need to do is go back down to her. We'll go to this layer here, and I'm going to shrink her. The arrow key, the arrow one, will show you which direction it is, and it'll do it proportionately. Now we've got her below the line. I'm going to take her just a little bit lower. So she's set now. On this side is much the same. You can see where she's cut off. So we'll go up to that layer and shrink her down below the line there as well. And now it's symmetrical. All right, she's below the line there, below the line there. All right, now save as. I always start off with the TGA. That way it loads while the other one, you can load it into Trading Paints while the PSP is saving. I'll go over there, save it as the PSP file. Save, replace. Now we can go back over here to my paints. Choose paint. Upload it as the red line. Now see, I ended up changing it so it's going to replace the one that was already in there. And if we look at it closer, you can see Harley is below the line right. There's the line right there. Harley's head is now below it. Same way with this side over there. I'll go down to my musketeer and do the same. Now in the game it should be the same. It should look better. We'll go in there and see. Go back over here, jump over to Mount Pan. This time I'll do a full lap and get up onto the mountain, or get up onto the mountain at any rate. But really, this is all it is. All it takes is to do a layer like that. It's just make sure you have it set for 2048 and that you find something that's going to work for your car. I've gone through many paint schemes that didn't look right on my car and ended up changing my mind. I was going to go with a different one, as a matter of fact, for some of the others, and ended up changing my mind and went back with my tried and true version. Not trying to prove anything, so I won't go fast through here. get up to my picture taking area. Alright. Escape out. Now I'm going to go over to TV1. We're going to back this up. Get it to the mountain. And here's the mountain right there. This is the scene I use for a lot of my pictures now. Control Alt 12. Zoom in. I don't want to zoom in too much. We'll lower it. Bring it to the right just a bit. And then take the picture. Makes for a good shot. Alt F1. Okay. And change the view if we need to. Blimp. Here we go. Zoom in. Turn it a little more. Then we're going to move this left. Zoom in a little more. We got a good shot that way of the Criterion logo in the back and the Les Paul on the wing. Hit that. We'll go back over here to zoom out just a hair. I'm going to advance this just a bit. Okay. Move it on a little bit more to get it away from those trees. Right there. Let's try that and see what we get. Perfect view. That's what I was looking for. I want to move that up. There. Now you got a good view of the top of the car. Alt F1. And let me see if we can get a closer view of Harley. Yeah, let's try TV1, TV2, TV3 isn't going to help us. And stop. We'll zoom out. And you can see her right there. Harley is showing up. I'm going to back that out just a bit so I can get part of the car on there. There we go. Alt F1. Now, we've seen that she's there. All the logos are in place. The car is ready to upload. So, I don't save the replays generally. We can go over there and that's it. Everything works out on the car. And now all I have to do is upload. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned. And I'll see about getting some more videos out.